The college football season is officially over. It's a perfect time for an NFL mock draft. My man, Zach Patra, joins me. We go through 32 picks. We're fixing some franchises. Make sure to drop a comment on the video. Let us know how we did for your favorite team, and let's get into it. All right, here we go, Zach. Our first combined NFL mock draft of the season. We're going to go every other pick here. No trades on this one. We just want to get into talking about the best players, start talking about some early fits. You know, it's important when we're talking about a mock draft, right? We're not trying to perfectly predict what's going to happen in April now. We want to go through, we want to help you understand NFL draft player value, what teams might be looking for. Basically, you know, we got 29, 30 franchises picking in the first round, Zach. We're trying to improve some franchises, right? And the first one up here, Tennessee Titans, they're on the clock with the first pick. What's your approach here? You're the Titans GM. How are you improving this team?
I mean, I would love to get a receiver for Cam Ward. I would love to help that room out a little bit, but at first overall, obviously, I'm not going to do that. Let's get arguably a guy that people really like that think he might be the first overall pick, and it's the versatile edge linebacker from Ohio State, Arvell Reese. I think he fits in nicely with this defense. As the consensus, I'm probably a little bit lower on him than most. I do like him a lot. I haven't got a full film evaluation on him, but the more I watch, the more I start to like a little bit. I just don't see like first overall yet, but I get the potential and the need that the Titans have for Arvell Reese. He could do a lot of things extremely well. He lines up all over the place. So give me Arvell Reese to the Titans here. Hopefully help out that defense a little bit.
Yeah, and we're balancing, right? We're balancing personal opinions, personal evaluation on players, and what the actual franchises might be doing here. And of course, you can get all of Zach's position by position rankings at Prep Draft Pro. The link, it will be in the episode description. You kind of put me in a tough spot because I'm on record, man. I'm a Tyler Shuck fan. I really am. And I think with another season at the helm, I think he's shown good things, over 68% passing completion rate over the last few games. But I think if the Saints are sitting here at 2 and they have QB available, and if Ty Simpson declares, I think he will be the first quarterback off the board. Not the best game in the Iron Bowl for Ty Simpson, but I think if you look over the course of this season, he does not look like an inexperienced quarterback. That's going to be his biggest knock, right? I think even if they make a deep run in the college football playoff, it'll be, 14 starts for him. And so that's a low number. Certainly there's a low track record of that lack of experience hitting in the NFL. But if you watch him play, man, he looks like an experienced passer. He's confident over the middle of the field. He throws in tight windows. He makes pro level passes each and every week. And I just don't think the Saints could pass on that.
Yeah, I don't think the Saints can at all. And I like having this conversation about quarterbacks that have only that 1 year wonder, because I think you look back at Anthony Richardson and people are like very afraid of like giving that guy an opportunity. But I mean, Ty Simpson's had a great year. I mean, at one point, I think he was like 24-1 and touchdown to interceptions or something crazy. Yeah. He's a very good player. He's someone I had a close eye on heading into the year. Obviously I didn't have a grade on him coming in, but he started to really show out for me, and I took notice, and I think if he comes out, he's very much worthy of a top 10 pick. There's another quarterback we're going to probably eventually talk about that I think should absolutely come out as well, but we'll save that for later. But Ty Simpson's a great pick for the Saints.
Yeah, and Anthony Richardson was raw. Ty Simpson, he's not raw. But the Giants are on the clock here. They don't need a quarterback, so we won't go back-to-back quarterback picks here, but they do have a lot of needs.
Oh, they got a lot of needs, man. And it's tough to kind of narrow in where I want to go with this.
Right.
Because, like you said, they don't need a quarterback. They could definitely use some offensive line help, but I am just not sold on this offensive line. Francis Mauigoa could be a guard. You're not taking a guard with 3rd overall. Spencer Fano would be the next guy I would debate on picking. What do they got for team needs here besides everything?
Back. Yeah, corner's probably the other big one here. If you're looking at the Giants secondary, the problem with the Giants is they've had good corners over the years. It's just when they go to other teams, they get good.
Right, exactly. We literally talked about this pre-show, but I'm having a hard time not leaning towards Caleb Downs. We know safeties don't get picked extremely high.
Yeah.
But I think, when you look at Downs overall, like he's very good at just about anything you ask him to do. And, we saw Kyle Hamilton go late and he's an all pro and one of the better safeties in the league. Like, let's go Caleb Downs. I know I'm going against what I truly feel, but let's just go for it.
No, we talked about this pre-show, right? We're doing mock drafts. Good players. We want good players to go early here, right? And team needs are
Exactly.
fluid. It's pre-free agency, so let's get the good players off the board. I think this is a dream scenario here for the Las Vegas Raiders because I think they need help just about all over, but certainly on the defensive line. I don't think Ruben Bain's going to be here at 4. I think if he slid like this, there would be a trade up, but no trades in this mock. And I think if you're a Raiders fan, you'd be pretty happy with Ruben Bain here at 4.
Yeah, I don't hate that pick. I like Ruben Bain a lot. It's going to be really interesting just to see, who decides to go back to school. I honestly think we are going to see a couple surprises. You start seeing Ruben Bain start dipping down some mock drafts. I'm not even saying he's going to return. I'm just saying there's going to be a lot of guys where we're going to see it this year where it's going to be super interesting to see what they decide to do.
Yeah, before you make this Cleveland Browns pick, folks, there's only one rule on our mock drafts. Let us know how we did with your team. Drop us a comment. We want the good and the bad. We're happy to get into it either way. All right, the Browns fans, I'm sure they'll be good to us no matter what here, Zach.
Yeah, I'm sure they are because you can't really go wrong with what they got rostered. You could definitely help yourself at the top end of this draft. But I'm going to go, Browns fans, I don't know if they're going to hate me or not when you take another quarterback, but I'm going Fernando Mendoza. Personally, I was never a huge Shedeur fan. I was never a huge Dylan Gabriel fan. I definitely thought they were draftable. I just didn't think they were going to be starting quarterbacks early on in their career. Obviously, both have started, both have struggled. I think Fernando Mendoza coming into the year, he was a late 2 for me. And that's pretty good when you're coming off a redshirt sophomore last year. That's pretty good if you're going to be a late 2 as a redshirt sophomore. I liked him a lot. He's a likely first round grade for me. I don't see how he gets out of the first round if he does decide to declare, which I don't see why he wouldn't with the class of quarterbacks we have. But yeah, give me Fernando Mendoza. I think that defense is really solid. I think they got some guys on offense that can make some plays, but they got to get someone to get him the ball. And Fernando Mendoza, I got a lot of hope for that guy going into the NFL.
Yeah, I think Mendoza is a game manager, and I mean that in the best possible way, right? Like that kind of steady, reliable, high IQ play could really benefit the Cleveland offense. I think it could be a good match there, assuming that they retain Stefanski, which I would expect they would. And the Browns have another pick in the late first round, and I don't want to tip things yet, but wide receiver, that's a hot spot there in the back end of the first round. So they could really add to their offense here throughout the draft. All right, I've got Washington here. Kind of a tough situation in terms of need, in terms of fit. I think they certainly could be a team eligible to move back. They went veteran heavy this year, and they kind of pushed all in on that. Didn't really work out for them. They need a reset. And a team, if they are drafting top 6, moving down and getting draft capital would be beneficial. But again, we're not doing this here. I'm going to take Mansour Delane. Let's add a DB1, corner 1 for at least Zach here in the class. I think consensus is going to get there on Delane, and I think Washington would be happy to walk away with him at 6 overall.
Yeah, I think Delane's a very good player. And I think you're right, though, too, with Washington. I think this is a trade-down candidate type of team because they do have a lot of talent. And why not move down, get some more draft capital, and load up for the future, which is Jaden Daniels, who's been hurt all year. So I like that idea.
All right. I'm curious to see here with the Jets, right? I mean, big quarterback need. I don't know that there's another quarterback that I expect to declare this year that's a first-round pick. But I'm curious to see if you think if Dante Moore is going to come out. Does he go with this pick? Do you think Arch Manning's going to come out? Could he go with this pick? What are you going to do here?
I don't like diving too deep into young quarterbacks who I'm just uncertain on if they're going to declare or not. Like I'll dive into, obviously Cade Klubnik and Nussmeier and all the guys that we know are for sure they're going to be in this draft class, Sawyer Robertson. So I don't usually dive fully into the quarterback conversation until I know they're declaring. But I've watched a lot of Dante Moore. Yeah, like Dante Moore. He was one of those guys coming into the year where I'm like, it was the same thing for Ty Simpson. Like, you're not going to have a grade. I got, there's a lot that you got to prove to me, but he makes so many different throws and he's very cerebral. I like him a lot. This is against my whole, like all my willpower, but just like thinking of if the draft were to start today, the Jets need a quarterback. Like they don't want Justin Fields. They've given up on him twice now. I feel like you gotta, like, I think Lenore Sellers probably goes back. Arch Manning probably goes back. So yeah, there's going to be some talent in next year's draft class. And again, this is me going against just everything that I usually stand for when it comes to mock drafts. I usually don't try to take quarterbacks, bam, bam, bam. But this is how it's gonna roll out for me, just from what I've seen and what I've been hearing too. And I think this is, it's a decent scenario for the Jets because I do like Dante Moore. He's a solid player.
Yeah, I refuse to do my full breakdown on Dante Moore because I think I'm going to love him. And I don't want to get too attached too early here. All right, I've got the Cardinals here at 8. I think Cardinals need help along the defensive line. I think they need help along the right side of the offensive line. Certainly could go Peter Woods. I think he's in play here. But, whether it's, I guess whoever is playing quarterback for them next season, it might not be Kyler. I think you got to do a little bit more to protect him. And I know we don't love the offensive tackle class, but somebody's going to rise up. Like we're not getting out of the top 10 picks without an offensive tackle. So I'll go ahead and I'll take Spencer Fano. Maybe that's Maui Goa by the time we get to, April. Maybe that's Proctor, Lomu, maybe is a riser throughout this process. I think that part really needs to shake out, but we're going to get at least one offensive tackle top 10.
Yeah, I think there's a guy here that's going to kind of jump off the board too. And you went Spencer Fano. He's a solid player. I like that pick a lot. You got to have someone to protect whoever the quarterback is going to be there. And Jacoby Brissett's looking all right. So who knows?
He's looking all right. Might be him. 30.
Might be.
Rolling into next season with 34-year-old Jacoby Brissett. But hey, man, if he can get the ball to Marvin Harrison Jr., no complaints from me.
Or even Michael Wilson. Come on, man.
That is true. Hey, nothing wrong with little Michael Wilson. Nothing wrong with that. All right. Los Angeles Rams. This is the Atlanta pick. This was the James Pierce trade last year, and it's looking even better this week.
Wait, the Rams have a first round pick?
Yeah. They have 2.
Unbelievable. Gosh,
they're a whole new franchise.
They're a whole new franchise this year. There's a lot of different ways these guys could go, I think. Their defensive line is pretty stout, so I don't know but again, like we're talking best player available, do you go with a guy like Peter Woods and really just stack that defensive line? I think it's a possibility. Man, there's a couple corners I like though too. You could go corner here, but I think you go best player available and you just go Peter Woods here and stack that D line.
Oh, all right. Well, there goes my pick for the Bengals.
I might be crazy, but hey, good teams draft good players. Rams are looking good, and add Peter Woods to Braden Fisk and Jared Verse, and I'm sure I'm missing someone else there. Oh, they got Byron Murphy, but like that's going to be a loaded defensive line right there. Why not?
I mean, there's something to be said, right, for teams that invest in what they're already good at, right? Like that is not a bad strategy at all. So I think, you're looking at Cincinnati, defensive line's a priority, linebackers a priority. I just don't know, Zach, help me out. Like, is there any linebacker that you can justify here at pick 10, or should we be pivoting more towards corner?
You're at kind of a spot with corner with, what's going to happen with Jamal McCoy. Right. Do you feel confident in Avian Taylor or Avian Terrell? This is you already picked Delane, which is a good pick. My next guy would be Chris Johnson out of SDSU, but I wouldn't go him that high. Yeah, that's my CB4, baby.
I know.
And then you look at linebackers though, CJ Allen, Anthony Hill, both very good players in their own right, but it might be a little rich. So I think I did kind of stonewall you a little bit. I mean, Keldrick Falk's another one you could possibly go with here. He's been fine this year. He hasn't been great like he was, like we thought he was going to be, but he's definitely a solid option as well.
Placing Murphy on the edge there.
Yeah.
You know what? If we're gonna go edge, let's go David Bailey. I'll take Bailey here at 10, and I desperately wanted to do something fun here, maybe add a wide receiver to the offense, but I'll be disciplined here. And this is why I'm pre-show I said, Zach, you want odds or evens? And this is why he said odds, because you got the Minnesota Vikings on the clock now.
Oh man, and like, what am I supposed to do? Like you mentioned with the Commanders, how they tried to get some veteran guys in there, and it didn't really work out. The same thing, it didn't really work out for the Vikings. So it's a tough spot. Obviously, have a very good receiving core. Quarterback's a question mark. They're not going to draft a quarterback here. Defensively, this would be a great spot to hopefully take a guy like Caleb Downs if he does fall a little bit. But it's really tough, man. It's really tough because you got the offensive line when they're healthy, they're solid. I might pull the trigger on Jeremiah Love here, man.
Ooh, all right. To the Vikings. Oh, that would send fantasy football managers up in a storm.
They'd have a blast with it, that's for sure.
It's a fun offense, but it's a poor offensive line. Well, but I guess that's health, right? There's a lot of health behind it.
Yeah, once they're healthy, they're looking good. Yeah.
All right. Is Mike McDaniel the coach of the Miami Dolphins next year? That changes how I make this pick.
I think so. I mean, people are going to be calling for his head and whatnot, but I still think he's going to be there. It's tough to say.
Do I take Mekhi Lemon? Speed,
hey,
baby.
I don't hate it because if one of those receivers does leave,
well, I mean, Tyreek's not coming back, right?
Yeah, Tyreek's not coming back. Can you be totally invested into Waddle? Like you got to do something there.
All right, we should. If I was disciplined, I'd take an edge player, but I'm not going to. I'm going to take Mekhi Lemon here. First wide receiver off the board. I expect a long run of wide receivers here, and I wouldn't be shocked if Mekhi Lemon goes top 10. I've rewatched his film. I've rewatched Jordan Tyson. I've rewatched Carnell Tate. Mekhi Lemon's my wide receiver one, man. The explosive playability. He separates at the bottom of his routes, and in the Miami scheme there. Again, if Mike McDaniel's there, that's going to be a killer benefit to him in that offense, and it's going to be good for fantasy as long as Tua's healthy. So we'll see. We'll see about that.
I like it a lot. And who do I got next? I got the Chiefs.
Okay, well you sniped yourself here. You can't send Jeremiah Love to the Chiefs.
No, but I'll take Carnell Tate, who's my wide receiver one.
Oh,
give me a deep threat to add to that offensive group of weapons there. I'll take it, man.
Rashi Rice, Xavier Worthy, Carnell Tate. Oh man.
Which they're like, I wouldn't say the receivers have been awful, but they haven't been great either. Like, like Mahomes is good. Like, how long is Kelsey going to play for? Give him another weapon. Let's go.
Oh man, Carnell Tate is averaging over 17 yards of reception this season.
It's unreal.
Absolutely insane, and a 0% drop rate, dude. 0 drops on the season. Oh, I hadn't thought about that combination before, but it's so really possible.
It'd be so much fun. And like just being a receiver coach, like watching him play, it's perfect. It's so good. It's so fun to watch. I love watching him.
I don't want to just piggyback on the wide receiver run here, but the Steelers need a wide receiver. And Jordan Tyson's sitting there. And I do think this is a situation where once the first wide receiver comes off the board, we're going to see a little bit of a run. So let's get Jordan Tyson there. With DK Metcalf being the deep field threat, I think Tyson has a real ability to be the possession guy, first and second level of the field, really confident working over the middle of the field, working in traffic. He can stretch the field, don't get me wrong, but I think he could complement Metcalf's skill set very nicely.
No, I agree. They're both very different players, and I think they'd fit perfectly together.
Yeah. All right. You're gonna keep it going here with the Panthers?
Oh man, I don't think so. I think this is where you got to help the defensive line a little bit. And with Keldrick Falk still there, I think it's a great spot for him. Big body, powerful frame. He brings a lot to the run game, and he's a decent pass rusher as well. I think he's going to be a very solid player. And if you can get him at, what pick are we at here? 15?
15, yeah.
Yeah, we'll take Keldrick Falk for sure.
All right, Dallas up here at 16. I think this is the spot to take CB2. Jermon, if McCoy is, I'm going to go McCoy. I'm going to assume he's fully healthy. He goes through the pre-draft process. I'm just going to lean into my Tennessee Vols bias here, right? But, Dallas desperately needs help in the secondary. They've been able to patch it together. It's working a little bit better over the last couple of weeks, but Revel's not the long-term plan. Bland isn't the long-term solution, right? So let's get them some help here.
Yeah, I don't hate the pick. He's a top 3 corner in this class for me. I think he's a very solid player, and I know he hasn't played this season, but still, like you saw it last year, he's a top tier athlete.
All right, we have Detroit here on the clock. Good luck picking for Detroit, man.
So we got Detroit, man. It's what they need is they need a center since Frank Ragnow has a strained hamstring. That'd
Oh,
be.
bummer.
But there's no center to take. Just to go off the rails a little bit, I really don't think there's a guard or a center, any interior guy that's a first round pick. I don't think you're going to see those guys go first round. Like we saw Tyler Booker and we saw a couple other guys and whatnot. So I think this is going to be one where you see them go with, could they go tackle? Maybe. Where else could they go? Linebacker? Could they take a linebacker here?
Like To'o replace To'o.
Yeah, because I like that Iowa linebacker they had.
Sorry, I'm looking at the Houston depth chart. My bad.
I'm thinking of Campbell. Like they got some. You know what? I might need to do some depth chart look because you know what? If I'm not a huge fan of their linebacker classes, this is where I probably take an Anthony Hill.
A corner replacement here for Terrion Arnold.
Yeah, we could go corner. And we could go Avion Terrell.
Yeah,
let's do that.
All right, good teamwork on that one there.
Yeah.
Houston here. I'm going offensive line. I mean, come on. We'll go Francis Mauigoa. I don't think the Houston fans want any discourse on this. Best offensive tackle available. End of story. Oh, you got the Ravens.
Yes. Well, you can help me out with this one, but I will say, like, when you look at the Texans' offensive line, Titus Howard and you got Ursery as the bookends. I'm kind of like, from what I'm hearing, Mauigoa doesn't have the longest arm, so he might end up having to kick inside.
Yeah,
I don't think that's a bad thing if the Houston Texans do take him and he does have to kick inside because he's a talented player for sure.
Yeah, all right, I like that. Yeah, nothing wrong with that. I know we get so caught up with that, once it gets to arm length season and the combine, and I get it. Like I get all of that, but again, if you can add a good offensive lineman to a bad offensive line, you're going to figure out how to make that work.
100%.
All right, Baltimore is up here. A decent amount of needs here for the Ravens this year.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting when you look at it. How do you feel about their secondary? I think their secondary is pretty solid. The linebacker group is okay. They added Draymond Jones in the middle of the season. I do think they could use an edge rusher. What do we got on the tight ends here? Is Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely? They're coming up on contract years, right?
Yeah, I think Andrews is coming back. I know there was a lot of chatter about that preseason. I think they like Andrews, man. There was a lot of negative feelings about that drop in last year's playoff run, and I get it, man. Like I was there too, but he's been really solid this year. Fantasy managers have been frustrated that Isaiah Likely hasn't gotten on the field, and it's because they still like Andrews. So if they go offense, because I think they could, I think they could look for wide receiver. You have Lamar is committed to finding the veteran wide receiver that he loved playing in Madden in 2012. That seems to be what he's gone for the last couple off seasons. But I think if they go offense, they go wide receiver. I mean, certainly they need help along the interior offensive line, but you mentioned it. Like there's nobody here at 19 that we're taking there. So I think it's edge or wide receiver.
Well, I'm going to go with my higher graded guy. Then we're going to go with Denzel Boston out of Washington.
That's who I was going to pick.
And we will go with receiver here.
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly why. Because, the Ravens consistently, they try, and Zay Flowers has been an awesome fit, right? But I mean, like you go back to Rashad Bateman, you go with Odell Beckham Jr., DeAndre Hopkins, right? They're looking for that big man. And Denzel Boston, dude, he can play above the rim. He's athletic, he's fast. Like that is the guy. If we're looking to expand the catch radius for Lamar, if you're looking to give him a downfield threat, like that's the dude. It's probably not great for fantasy managers watching this. And, he is my wide receiver 4 in the class. But man, it would be great for Ravens fans. All right. Tampa Bay is up here. I have been so caught up on the Ravens that I got so fired up by the Denzel Boston pick here. We might need to talk through this one. I think offense is pretty locked in here for Tampa Bay. I mean, you could look at tight end. I did in the newsletter mock draft last week. I sent Kenyon Sadiq here. I thought that was kind of a fun pick. But they could use some help on the defensive line as well. And quite frankly, dude, we've kind of let our edge guys fall a little bit. There's a lot of talented edge players.
There's a lot of talented edge players, but I again, like, this is one where I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing some fall, because so Bain went, Falk went, and we still got guys like TJ Parker, Cassius Howell out there. There's no guarantee that Parker even goes in the first round.
Yeah.
But still, like, a very talented player that, like, finished the year strong here. He could sneak into this type of range again because we know how talented he can be. But after that, I have a tough time seeing any other edge rushers besides the two I just mentioned that could go in the first round.
What about linebacker here? I know you mentioned CJ Allen earlier. They definitely could use the help there.
I think this is a very talented linebacker class. So if you wanted to go with a guy like Anthony Hill, who's just a very well-rounded player and has just gotten smarter and smarter throughout every year he's played, that wouldn't be too bad of a pick if you ask me. Either that or Kenyon Sadiq.
All right. Well, I'm going to go Sadiq. Yeah. Because I just think you're looking at, again, like the idea of you invest back in what you're good at. Tampa Bay's got a good offensive situation. They've got Baker on a heater here. Let's give them more weapons. Buffalo at 21. We're getting into the back end of the first round here.
Yeah. I don't know how you don't go receiver here. Like,
yeah,
honestly, there's just what they have right now is just struggling. Like, when are we going to get Josh Allen a true number one guy? Now the question is, like, I want to go receiver. I think
they've missed on a true number one in this class with Boston going at 19.
Yeah.
And I like there's still 5-6 wide receivers, I think, at least, that are top 50 talent, but I don't know if you have a wide receiver one left. You might disagree.
No, I don't. I don't disagree. And you missed a great chance for a 6'7" joke too, by the way. You said 5'6", 6'7". Anyway,
I said a true story on the wide receiver video. I accidentally said 6'7", and somebody timestamped it, and they were like, "What did he say? This used to be a country." So I hope he's watching this video and he could timestamp us again.
That's so funny. But yeah, I don't think there's a wide receiver one, but like, you look back on who they picked before, Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman and all these guys super early. I just never saw those guys as wide receiver ones. Now, do I see a guy like Chris Bell as a potential wide receiver one?
Potentially.
Higher, like, I probably, if I go back and look at my rankings, I know I have Bell higher than Shakir. I might have him higher than Coleman as well. But man, if my job's on the line, if I'm the GM of the Bills, and I'm sure his job's not on the line, I'm just saying, like, do I feel confident picking a guy like Chris Bell when I have other needs? That's another thing. But I do want to help out my franchise quarterback. This is where I could maybe see the Bills going with, a defensive lineman, maybe an edge rusher here, just because, you got Joey Bosa and you got Greg Rousseau and you got a couple of those guys and whatnot. But I do think, you could bring in another guy as like a potential rotation guy early. But the more I talk about it, the more I think Chris Bell is a decent pick here for the Bills.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, their next pick is until 55. So there is a bit of a drop off. Like, by 55, we probably have 8-9 wide receivers gone. I mean, truly, between this pick here and 20, pick 21 to 50, like, we're going to see a run of wide receivers. I don't think the Eagles are going to be one of them, though. I don't know. I understand the need, but if you can't use A.J. Brown well, and they have improved, like, they actually have really improved in the way they're using A.J. Brown, I'm not going to go out here and necessarily add, another wide receiver to the mix here for the Eagles. I think safety is a need. I think corner is a need. Let's see, corner. Do we go with your guy?
Do it. I'm not going to say no. This kid is so talented, man.
Let's go with your guy here. Talk up Chris Johnson.
Oh, I mean, Chris Johnson, I can't even tell you what he does bad. I broke down his film last week, and it was like sticky in press coverage, understands his zone awareness. He has very good zone awareness, good athleticism, good footwork, very good technique overall. Can play the run really well. You can come on a cat blitz if you want him to, like, good speed. He does everything very, very well. There's nothing he does poorly. There's nothing he does that's just like a going to negatively affect his tape grade. Like there's always something that he's either good at, very good, or excellent at right now, and just a very well-rounded player that I could see going first round.
I like it. So the Jets are up at 23. We had him taking Dante Moore. Zach guaranteed that he's coming out, so he's going off the board at 7. Do they add a playmaker here? Do they keep building offense? Do they go defense? Look at the secondary, maybe. I mean, there's needs all around.
I think this is a good spot for a guy like Caden McDonald from Ohio State. He plays the nose position for the Buckeyes, and it's just a very well-rounded player who's strong and does a lot of things well. Like draft good players and you'll have a good team. Caden McDonald, I think, will help out this defense right away.
Nice. I like it. San Francisco here. I think we've got to go defensive line. Looking at the edge position, kind of want to take Romello Height, but I think Cassius Howell is going to go first. So I'll be disciplined here, and I'll go ahead. I'll take the Texas A&M edge.
Perfect. I like Howell.
I don't know if I believe you.
No, I like Howell a lot. He's got shorter arms, so like that's one thing that's going to knock him. But just overall, he's an outstanding player. I like Cassius Howell a ton. I think this guy's great.
All right. Well, if there's anybody who can make it work, it's probably San Francisco, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So here we go. Pick 25. It's the Chargers.
We got the Chargers. All right, let's see where we're gonna go with this squad here. Again, I think this is a team where maybe offensive line, defensive line, build around those trenches because they've dealt with some injuries. I think this year, right? Like Joe Alt's been hurt.
Yeah.
And who do we got for offensive tackles left? We got Caden Proctor. Caden Proctor is an interesting one to me. I think another interesting name to keep an eye out for will be Blake Miller. So if you're looking at the Chargers. And if you feel confident in taking an offensive lineman here, just looking at what they got here, like Trevor Penning and Bobby Hart, I think we got to go offensive tackle here. Blake Miller is an interesting one to keep an eye on here. I could see him going pretty early. He hasn't been talked about as a first round pick as of late. I think early in August, you started seeing him get taken towards the end of the first round. But I think this is a guy that has a lot of athleticism, plays right tackle. And I think this is one you can plug and play right away.
All right. I like that. All right. Cleveland is back on the clock. This is Jacksonville's original pick. We had them take Fernando Mendoza with their 5th overall selection. I'm looking at wide receiver here, and I think we've got some good options. I want to talk through a little bit the best fit, right? Because it's not that they don't have wide receivers. It's that they don't have that guy, right? Like Jerry Jeudy has been good, not great. Cedric Tillman has flashed. It hasn't been consistent. We've seen a little bit of Isaiah Bond working out of the slot, and that's worked well, especially with Shador. In terms of grades here, I like Casey Concepcion. I think he's really talented. I think he could be a slot guy, but the drop rate's not great. I love Jacoby Lane, but I think he's the Cedric Tillman replacement, and that might make me sad. And then, I know the NFL really likes Chris Brazzell. I think Chris Brazzell is not the guy to put in Cleveland. I don't want to do that to him, and I don't want to do that to Cleveland. We could get lazy. We could give him Elijah Surratt, keep him paired up with his college quarterback. Which wide receiver would you lean here?
I don't like the idea of Elijah Surratt. I do think if you're going to take a receiver that has the most potential to go in the first round would be Casey Concepcion.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to his athleticism and his ability to create separation is really good. The only thing that I would be
how much of him is overlapping with Jerry Jeudy? I guess I know Concepcion's playing inside, but are they kind of does that feel too duplicative for you? I don't know.
No, I think when it comes to a guy like Concepcion and Jeudy, I think they have similarities, but I think they will play different roles in that offense. Especially if you got a guy like Stefanski, if he wants to spread it out too, you need the weapons and you need the guys that can create separation, and Concepcion can do that for sure. You want yards after catch? That's another guy that's going to make some plays for you with the ball in his hands.
All right, we'll do it. Casey Concepcion,
so I don't hate it.
Here. I like it. I've really kind of flipped a little bit on Concepcion. I didn't think I'd have to be talked into him, so I like it. Dallas, 2 picks in the first round for Dallas. We had him take Jermod McCoy with the 16th overall pick. Now you get a selection here for the Cowboys.
Jermod McCoy. Do we stick with the defense here? That's the
Just double
question.
down, dude. They could double down on corner, quite frankly.
They could. Give me do we still have Anthony Hill available?
We should, yeah.
Let's go linebacker here. I think linebacker will be a good spot to go.
Keep them home.
I'm not sold on guys like Kenneth Murray or DeMarvion Overshown. Well, I almost forgot his name. And they haven't really drafted linebackers either, if I remember correctly. Like last year, I don't think they took one. But I think going linebacker here and starting to build that defense up. I mean, yeah, they have struggled this year. They're going to need to double down on defense for sure.
All right, I have Seattle here. It's impossible to draft for Seattle because you have two choices. You either take interior or offensive line, and we've already said that's not really the strength, but maybe it's in play at this point. Or you just do the wildest thing you can think of, right? Like those are the only two options for the Seahawks GM.
The crazier the better for these guys.
What's the crazy? They could add wide receiver. We could go back to the right wide receiver well here. But, Rashid Shaheed, Cooper Kupp out of the slot. If we had kept Concepcion in play, I think actually that would have been a really nice fit. You could do Jeremy Bernard. I don't love that. Antonio Williams.
He's already declared.
Williams in Seattle. That's actually pretty. That's pretty nice.
That's interesting. Who do we have left for tackles? Like I think. Ooh.
You think with Cross and Lucas that they're gonna? Proctor's still there.
Yeah, that's my fault. I was looking at my next pick of the Rams.
You're gonna snipe yourself. I know you're low on the guard class. Anybody we're considering here for a Bradford replacement potentially?
I mean, it would be the Penn State guard. That would be the only one I could think of going first round.
We're really filling our Seahawks fans with confidence here.
They're in a really good spot. They're in a really good spot. Say that again.
Or do we just go Cisse? Go corner.
We could definitely go. I wouldn't hate going corner. It's all a matter of how they feel about Josh Jobe. I think Devon Witherspoon's been all right.
Yeah, Witherspoon's safe. Yeah.
Yeah, Reek Woolen's been solid too as the third guy, and they took Nick Amanwari last year. So they definitely have tried to address the secondary in recent years. Man, like this might be where the run on linebackers actually start, if you ask me.
Yeah.
If I'm picking for the Seahawks right now, and I know you are, so I don't want to talk you in anything different. I like linebacker might be a good spot here, like a guy like Allen.
You know what? I don't have a great pick, and it's unexpected, so we're gonna do it. That's how you do it with the Seahawks.
I'm telling you right now,
like in all seriousness, Seahawks fans, like we had to work through that one. Like give us some thoughts.
Dude, I'm telling you right now, this linebacker class is going to be one of the better ones we've seen come out in recent years.
I like it because it's a position that normally doesn't get pushed up. So it'll make it really interesting to watch how they trend here over the next few months. All right, Rams are on the clock. Rams, another team with 2 picks in the first round. At 9, they took Peter Woods. At 29, are you thinking offensive line?
I'm thinking offensive line here because you still got – let's see. Who do you still got here? You got Caden Proctor.
You got Dunker, Lomu, Tiernan.
Man, yeah, there's – I would be surprised if Lomu comes out. I wouldn't be surprised if he comes out or stay. Like I have a feeling he might stay. But he would also be a good pick. Gosh, just looking at their depth chart, man, I could see tackle being a spot that they address. They got the receivers. I think they're fine at tight end. Like it's nothing crazy there. Running back, they're fine there as well. So I do think you either address the offensive line or I'm talking myself into offensive line here.
I mean, I know Proctor's not a complete product, but at 29.
Yeah, let's go Caden Proctor. I think it's not a bad spot for him.
All right. I'm doing what I want to do here. I want Drake May throwing the ball to Jacoby Lane. So I'm just going to make it happen. Diggs has been great. I think he's going to come back for another season. But what if we took Mac Hollins and just smashed the upgrade button, right? Like, Drake may throw in deep balls to Jacoby Lane. It doesn't even have to work all the time, man. If it just works twice a week, it's just going to be pure beauty. It's perfect.
No, I love it. I like Jacoby Lane a lot. He was dealing with some injuries early on in the year, right?
He's great. I think he's not my wide receiver one, but he's probably my favorite wide receiver. Like, he's just so fun.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. I think Drake May is going to like him a lot.
All right, 31 here. Your final pick with the Bears.
Do I just make the worst possible pick I can make for my division rivals, or?
I saw the Detroit pick, so
Yeah, right. That wasn't a bad pick.
I think the Bears' offense is actually in really good shape.
It's in a really good spot. Do they want to address the edge rusher position? Like, could you see TJ Parker going here? How do we feel about Austin Booker? How do we feel about Montez Sweat? The depth there.
I think it's defensive line.
I think TJ Parker might be a solid pick here. Like, I know people are trying to push him out of the first round, but one of the last picks of the first round, I'll take it.
All right. TJ Parker coming off the board here. Oh, the Broncos. Oh, great. Yeah, this is all right. Which offensive weapon do I want to absolutely waste here? I could do that, or I think you know what? I think I want to replace Riley Moss, man. I mean, this guy averages 2 DPIs a week. It has to be infuriating for Broncos fans. Cisse or AJ Harris here?
If you're asking me to choose between the two, I have them back to back. I would go Cisse. Cisse, however you say it.
Yeah, we're going with it. I'm going with Cisse. I don't know if it's right at all, to be completely honest with you. All right, there's our first round. That's a full first round, man. It's absolutely perfect. It's exactly how it's going to happen in April. All 32 picks there. Wrap us up, Zach. Again, folks, leave us a comment. Let us know. Make sure you're subscribed. Zach's works over at Prep Draft Pro. The link will be in the episode description. Just take us home. Your favorite pick. You get one pick.
I love the Chris Johnson pick. If I'm looking at this list right now, I love Chris Johnson. I think this is a very good player. You put him in. We got him at Philly, right? Put him with Philly. Like, man, there's a lot to really like about that one. If I'm going to pick a questionable pick that I feel kind of good about, like it's one of those picks that, you're going to look at this and be like, I don't know. But the one I think I like the most for the questionable ones, Peter Woods to the Rams. Like, I think that's going to be a fun pick.
All right. I love your Carnell Tate pick. That one really threw me. But I like it a lot. And I'll give you, let's see. I just want to pick your picks. I love Denzel Boston to Baltimore. That was technically my pick, but it was your pick. And then, the questionable one here, let's live in a world, man, where Dante Moore comes out and there's 3 quarterbacks. I don't think it's going to happen, but if I'm a Jets fan, which I never could even consider, that level of misery, at 7, if you got Dante Moore, you'd be thrilled. You would have to absolutely be thrilled. But there you go. That's our first round mock draft. It's our first Zach of the season. It is certainly not the last. Make sure you're subscribed because we got a lot more NFL draft content heading your way real soon.